Hello everybody, what's going on, and welcome back to the Road to Glory career mode. I hope you are all doing well. If you missed the previous episode, go and check it out. It was the playoffs and they were eventful, to say the very least. But if you did see that, you know we are into the Premier League for the first time in the series. I'm so excited to bring you this video as well because it's the transfer window and it is set to be one of the busiest windows I have ever had in any series ever on my channel. So sit back, relax and hopefully enjoy. £35 million to spend. There's a lot to get through today, so we're going to have to get through this pretty quickly. Hence why it's done as post-com, because there was just so much going on that the video would have been so long if it was live. But I went ahead and I shortlisted a bunch of players, both suggestions from you lovely people in the comments section and players that I found through scouting and whatever else. But there was one interesting point that I saw as we entered today's video, and that was our club valuation has skyrocketed to £270-something million. So to only have 35 million to spend, I was a little bit frustrated with that because the squad needs work. There's no denying that. The first thing I went ahead and did was try and get Bukayo Saka back on loan. Unfortunately, Arsenal recognise now that he is a fairly good player and so don't want to let him go out on loan anymore. But I had another look at their squad and so I just went for someone else instead. Gabriel Martinelli. Not quite the same level as Saka just yet, but hopefully we'll still do a good job for us in the Premier League. So unfortunately, Bukayo Saka will not return, but Martinelli is here on loan anyways. And to talk about my plans for this window, I wanted to get as many players as I could because when you see the squad a little bit later, the starting 11 is fine. I think that the starting 11 we've got is good enough to survive in the Premier League, if not push for a mid-table finish, but the squad depth is lacking massively. You know, if we get injuries or anything like that, we are going to be in serious trouble. So I knew that I couldn't really go and splash the cash out on your, regular signings, your big name signings, your Mbappes. That was never going to happen anyway. But I couldn't really risk bringing in players or a player for 30+ million, knowing that we needed to get the numbers in. So our first signing was actually a player that I've been scouting for a couple of seasons, Ben Godfrey from Norwich. They've just been relegated to the Championship, and so we were able to get a £10 million deal agreed to bring him to Forest Green. But before that signing, we only had one centre-back at the club who was staying, and that was Jose Antonio. So I knew full well we needed to go and get another one. So Jean-Claire Todibo was the man that I went after. Initially trying to get him on loan, he was a suggestion by you guys. Unfortunately, Barcelona didn't want to let him go on loan, but he had a minimum fee release clause. We activated it, but we knew the contract was going to be pretty big in terms of the wages. £55,000 a week to get him to the club. Now, he's the biggest earner that we actually own. Martinelli at the moment is the highest paid, £56,000 a week, but of course he's only here on loan. But it's a massive chunk of our wages already gone. So this was the point I realised that this money was not going to go far. We brought in 2 players and I was only just really getting started. And it was annoying because there was a couple of really good players now playing Championship football. Edouard, Danilo, both playing for Burnley, both relegated. Edouard would have been so good for us to get into the Premier League, but there was no way we were going to afford him. So I looked at potentially bringing in a couple of older players, as you see with Witsel here, 33, contract expiring at Spurs. I felt £9 million was a nice offer, but we could not get this deal done. Not for the first time. There were so many deals I tried to make in this window that fell through because either we didn't agree a fee or the contract was just too much. It was insane. This was done over a period of about an hour of me sat there trying to find players to get into the Premier League team this season. And I checked out our squad, and that's where I realised, yeah, we've got a good enough starting 11 to potentially survive in the Premier League, but our squad depth is so bad. So I was trying to work out how I could do this. How could we get the numbers in with the very minimal budget that we had? There was 3 options. Either we sell Lopez and we look to reinvest the probably £100 million that we get for him into players. But I didn't want to do that because Lopez has been with us from the very start. And as you know, I like to have a legend of my series and he is certainly on course to do that. So that option went out the window very quickly. Our second option was to go ahead and try and get some loan deals in. But as you saw there with Brahim Diaz, I went to Real Madrid, £125,000 a week he's on. That's insane. The players that are not great players are on so high contracts, it's just dumb. So that one went out the window. So I eventually settled on option number 3, which was to try and find young players with minimum fee release clauses that are probably better than their current minimum fee release clause is in terms of worth, that are not necessarily going to be the best players for us in the Premier League, but if we were to get relegated back to the Championship, they would be leading Championship players. So that's what we did. We went out and we picked up 3. Gravenberch from Ajax. We picked up Brandon Williams from Manchester United and Sergiano Dest from Ajax as well. And you can see in the ratings, they're not what you describe as top Premier League players by any means, but they're young. They've got enough quality to potentially fight a relegation battle, and they've got enough quality in the future to be leading Premier League players. But is it going to be enough for now? That's the big question. And those 3 signings were the last 3 that we are going to make for now, because I don't have the money to go any further. So, to say the very least, the team's not in a position where I want it to be. It's good, but it's not at the stage I thought we'd be at. And if we're looking at this right now, and looking at the earners at the club, you can see the contracts as they are. Now, I did actually get an offer here for Chong from Ajax after we rated them for 2 of their players. We went ahead and accepted it. A £12.5 million deal is what we agree on. So he looks like he's going to the Eredivisie, which will free up some more funds. But as we head into the live game of the day, or the first one at least, Liverpool at home, we are in for a very tough Premier League season, my friends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, hopefully. I appreciate that was a lot to follow. So I'll quickly run you through our transfer history again. Martinelli has joined the club on loan. Mitov has gone. Cage and Acuna are new signings, both on free deals. They cost us no money other than the wages. Godfrey, £10 million from Norwich. Jay Cook has left to play for Los Angeles. Todibo's come in from Barcelona. Winchester out to Whitecaps. McGinley to Gremio. Brandon Williams in. Morgan out. Gravenberch and Dest, with Davis also going out on loan as well to Galatasaray. So that's it. They're the only deals we've done today. All clubs, I'm going to show you the top deals at the window so we can see what's gone on there. Marino's gone to PSG, Draxler to Real Madrid, Llorente to Bayern, Gomez to Bayern. Now, thankfully, a lot of these aren't really affecting the Premier League. So the only one close is Silva's deal to Spurs. He's the only new signing into the Premier League that we really have to worry about. But for us then, it's time for our first ever game in the Premier League, and I've gone ahead and updated the sliders slightly, so we are still going to be playing Legendary difficulty as we have been. However, on the CPU side, within the Prem, they should really not be giving the ball away many times through, unpressured mistakes, we'll call it. They should be very good at keeping the ball. So pass error has basically been moved down to 2. So, wait, it was on 3, I'm going to move it down to 2. So we should never see the AI playing the ball and giving it straight away unless it's for a great interception by us. They should never make a mistake, essentially, or close to that. And in terms of first touch control, we're going to move that down to 2 as well. So their control should be nearly on point nearly every single time. Other than that, everything else has remained the same. And this is going to be quite a tough season. And with Liverpool coming up first, we are in for a very tricky start to this season. We are going to make, or do the press conference, I should say. I don't do these generally, but as it is the first one in the Premier League, I thought we'd go ahead and do it. And we'll see what they say. Can your team win this season's relegation battle? At least they're being realistic with the questions. We're prepared to fight. We need to be. And we know where we're probably going to be come the end of this season, most likely. Into the next one. Dest transfer from Ajax stands out of one of the biggest bargains of the year. Will he get his first minutes on the pitch? I've not actually decided on my team yet. So, I'll say he'll prove he's the right man. I feel like he'll start. And I guess time will tell. And the same question about Gravenberch. He definitely will be starting. So, let's get into game against Liverpool then. And this is the team we have gone with then for the game. So, Dest does start in place of Mitchell at right back. But it's going to be interesting to see the Liverpool side. And there it is as it comes up on your screen. Virgil van Dijk, the captain. Midfield 3, Chamberlain, Barella and Fabinho. But that front 3, Angel Di Maria, Firmino and Salah. And I'm looking on their bench. Felipe Anderson's there. Ciro Immobile as well, I think. As we welcome Liverpool to the new lawn as we get this game underway. Barella takes his touch forward, but it's a heavy touch. Laqueda wins it back. It's a great challenge as well. And there's a chance as he drives forward to release Lopez, who's trying to get there ahead of Michael Keane. He can't quite get it past Alisson, but the rebound falls to Solano, who puts it home. Forest Green 1, Liverpool 0. And that's the start that we could have dreamed of. Salah for Liverpool skips past 1 and 2. And there's the cross as it falls for Firmino. Across to Chamberlain. And it is 1-1. They seem to have an empty, just space inside our penalty area. And nobody picks up Oxlade-Chamberlain. They were quite fortunate, though, the way the ball just seemed to go towards Bobby Firmino. But then he keeps his composure, slides it across, and Chamberlain makes sure. And it was his header, actually, that was deflected off Jose Antonio into the path of Firmino. So fair enough. I will say as well, since we went 1-0 in front, it's been all Liverpool. They've had all the possession pretty much in our half as well. Lopez for Laquerda, now up towards Gravenberch, who takes it well, finds Solano. Solano skips past the challenge and now can feed the ball through maybe as Gravenberch fights for possession. And he squares it across. And Fabinho vitally is able to clear it away for Liverpool. Barella finding Fabinho, a little bit too much space here. Todibo goes to try and make the block and it's not quite paid out. Firmino will slot home. Liverpool 2, Forest Green Rovers 1. And it looks like the draw may have eluded us here. 18 minutes to play. I saw Fabinho and panicked a little bit, and that's why we went for the block with Todibo, who otherwise has had a stellar debut. Very impressed with him today. He's been quality. But then Fabinho, he just keeps his composure, doesn't even take the shot on, realises that Todibo is going to throw himself in front of the ball, and then just finds the feet of Firmino, who does the rest and celebrates with his manager. 2 changes coming through for us. We've got Chong coming on for El Ghazi and Godfrey coming on for Gravenberch. And that was really just to try and see this game out. But now then, we have to find a way to try and get back into it. And I will say, we cannot complain by the way that we've played here. Yes, we've not been the better team by any means. But against one of the top sides in the Premier League, we've held our own for 70 minutes. Di Maria for Liverpool. There's so much space now for them as we are getting a little bit stretched here as Joe Hart will make the save from Mohamed Salah. That could have been 3. But, yeah, decent stop. Time running out, though. Di Maria coming off. Anderson coming on for them. Not a bad change to make as Van Dijk at the near post rises to win the header, but he can't find the target. And that just is so annoying to watch. Chamberlain across and Anderson will score. I tried to play it out from the back to our left-back facer, and Oxlade-Chamberlain reacted quickest. That's a real punch goal to concede, really, because it's come from our own error. And these are the stuff that we don't get away with. And we made far too many errors when we were in the Championship that I feel like if we do them again this season, we're going to be in trouble. And we shouldn't be conceding goals like that. Anderson's been on the pitch a matter of minutes and he's just scored. 3-1 Liverpool, game, set and match. That's annoying. Lopez off towards Ben Godfrey, but there is full time. Our first Premier League game ends in defeat. That's one of the hardest games you could be given, though, to start off a new season with. And, yeah, I can't be too disheartened because we actually didn't play badly. But Todibo, great debut from him. Dest, I thought he played well as well in his first game for the club. And yet, as defenders, they conceded 3. Joe Hart even didn't do badly at all, but he's conceded 3 today. And that's I guess, a bit of a wake-up call. And welcome to the Premier League, Forest Green, more than anything. News coming through that Chong has left the club. He's gone to Ajax, £12.5 million. He'll do a really good job, actually, for them, I feel like. So, yeah, thank you for his services, and we wish him all the best in the future. That frees up some funds. Now, I did actually just look at maybe bringing in a goalkeeper. I went ahead and offered for Dean Henderson from Manchester United. We agreed on £10.5 million, but I don't have enough money to offer him a wage. So that's seemingly the problem for us right now, is the wages as well. So if we actually separate some of this money into our wage budget, just to show you, you can kind of see what we're working with. So effectively, a 75-25 split would be £8 million and £63,000 a week. So I think for now, we are just going to keep hold of Joe Hart in goal. I am training up a 16-year-old goalkeeper by the name of Lance Moore. I don't think he's going to be ready, though, this season. So we might have to just contend with Joe Hart in goal for now. There is one interesting signing that we could go for, though. Because with the sale of Chong, it means we now need potentially another option out wide. And there's 2 players. Abba Ruiz, £4.5 million release clause, but the wages, that's the big thing about him. He's on £105,000 a week at Barcelona. And then Pedro de la Vega is a suggestion by you guys. I actually didn't know about this guy. He's valued at, well, I can't see his value, but he's got a £7 million release clause. And I'm pretty sure that when I went in to scout him, it was either exciting or potential to be special. So he might be a bit of a wonder kid. Now the thing is, I don't know how good he is already, and I don't know how much he's worth. So 7 million could be a risk. Equally, it could be a bargain. So let me know about that. Pedro de la Vega could be a signing we could make. We've got the money to do it, but do we go ahead and actually make it happen? For now, we're going to go into our second Premier League game, which is going to come against Aston Villa away at Villa Park. And actually, although Dest didn't do badly at all, we are going to bring Mitchell back into right back and give him a start. And while we're at it as well, Dest can be on the bench. Rawson needs to come out, and I need to find somebody to play central midfield. Where's Adams? There he is. So yeah, Abu Adams comes on to the bench, and that is the side that we're going to go with for this one. These are the type of games that we need to try and pick up our points in if we are going to. Villa's side captained by Tyrone Mings, a player that I maybe was going to bring in here until we decided to go for Todibo and Ben Godfrey instead. Villa already attacking here as McGinn inside the penalty area. That ball through. Hart makes the save. Todibo gets the touch away, but we may as well not be trying to play it out from the back because that's what happens. We've got to cut out this. I've got to stop it. Again, what am I doing? What are we doing there? We should just be launching this away, but I'm trying to play out from the back, and I'm so used to doing it, but we haven't got the quality to do it. That's half the problem. You know, when you have players that are 75, 76 rated, you've got to be careful with how you play out in terms of your defence, and most of the time, it doesn't really work as Trezeguet scores. 9 minutes in, and we're already behind. And Villa goes straight back on the attack then as Dennis with the cross now. Todibo needs to win it. And he hasn't done. It is Villa 2, Forest Green Rovers 0. What are we doing? What is going on? Have we got to the Premier League too early in the series? Because sometimes that can be an undoing of teams. If you get there too early and you're not ready and your team isn't quite up to standards, you'd be in trouble. And they've just made it 2-0. We were leading against Liverpool. They came back to win. We're doing the opposite today. We're 2-0 down in the game. Oh, man. This is going to be a big, big task. Nothing for us to lose right now then as Solano to Lopez. Lopez back to Solano. Solano's through. And Solano will score. 2-1. And that is a goal that we needed. Solano through towards Lopez. Lopez takes the touch and shoots. And it is 2-2. Diego Lopez has got the goal. 23 minutes left to play. Can we find another goal to win this game? On the balance of play, though, it's, well, I'd say Villa have been the better side, and match facts will reflect that. So it would be a bit unlucky on them if they were to lose this, but it would be a massive win for us to get on the board. And Lopez smashes that one home. Solano, I've got to give him credit, right? Because usually very, very poor, but today he's held up the ball well. He's getting other players into play, and of course he scored that goal to get us back into this game. Into the last few seconds of the game, and there it is. It is our first point in the Premier League. It's finished Villa 2, Forest Green Rovers 2. But considering we were 2-0 down, I will take that 100%. Because the start we made to this game was awful. But you've got to give us credit. We fought back, and we've been able to pick up a point away from home. But it's against a team that we'll probably be fighting with, you know, for relegation this season. So, yeah, would have loved to have won that. But at least we didn't lose. To show you the board objectives then, before we go today, they want us to avoid relegation in the Premier League, reduce player wages by £9,000 a week, which we've already done, and within 3 seasons, increase the club worth by 50%. Youth development is high, medium is for brand exposure even. Financial is high as well. They want us to focus on that. So really, youth development and financial is where we need to be focused. So domestic success is relatively low on their priority list, which isn't bad. So maybe if we are to get relegated this season, we'd still keep a job in the Championship, but I don't want to run that risk. We've got to try and stay in the Premier League. So 2 games played. We sit mid-table after a point picked up. Yeah, and right now, Wolves bottom, Fulham second from bottom, Leicester third from bottom. They're not 3 teams that I was expecting us to be fighting. Well, Fulham maybe, but Leicester and Wolves, I don't expect to be in a relegation fight with those guys. I was sort of thinking Villa would be, Brighton maybe, but they've actually done okay at the start of the season. Palace possibly, West Brom. So you can kind of see it's not going to be an easy season for us. We've already conceded 5 goals in 2 games. Yeah, so that's not good, is it? So we'll start the day with Wolves next time out. Then we have a Carabao Cup tie against Bradford. Probably will sim that before Arsenal, and that will lead us into transfer deadline day, where I'm not sure there'll be any more deals or anything like that. Time will tell, though, with Pedro de la Vega possibly coming in on that minimum fee release clause. I won't give you guys a vote. I'll just see what the comment section says to that. £7 million. It's not a lot of money, and he could well be a superstar. Not knowing the overall, though, it's also a bit of a risk. So, yeah, I'll see what you guys say in the comment section. But until next time, guys, a massive thank you for watching this episode. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, a huge thank you as well for all of your support on the channel. Before we go, actually, Joseph Gelhard will stay at the club for now, at least for this season. I feel like we owe it to him after scoring the goal that got us here. Half of you were saying we should let him go. The other half were saying he's like Divock Origi, scores in the big games. So he will stay at the moment. He's injured. That's why he wasn't on the bench. But he should be back from injury. In fact, he might have even been on the bench for the game against Villa. But yeah, if you are new around here, like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below. And until next time, have a great day, have a great evening, and I'll see you all soon. Adios.